Hey guys, what's going on? Of course, today is going to be a very sad video. Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1. A wonder goal from Yuri Tielemans seals the win for Leicester, a quite frankly undeserved win. Not that I think Chelsea necessarily deserved to win the game. We weren't great. I think defensively both teams were pretty solid. As you can see here, Wesley Fofana had a really strong game. Soyuncu was pretty strong. Most of this backline was good. Same on our end then. It was a weird decision from Tuchel to play Reece James at the centre-back and then Aspi at wing-back. But it was being done to combat the pace of Vardy. Aspi cannot keep up with Vardy, so that's why Reece was there. Towards the end I thought it should have just been switched because we needed Reece going forward. Like, his crossing is immense and Aspi's is not. So we needed that change to happen, but it did not. Across the pitch then, of course, Mason didn't have a great game. Ziyech I thought was awful as well. Timo awful. Jorginho and Kante I guess did okay in the midfield. Alonso not really offering much like he normally does. Kepa in goal, like we knew he was going to be in goal because, you know, he was the cup keeper. But you just think when you see that Tielemans shot going towards that top corner, do you want Kepa, the guy who has notoriously struggled against long-range shots? I remember one from Zaha, I believe it might be in earlier this season, but possibly last season. Zaha just in the peak of like Kepa's capitulation, just thinking, screw it, it's Kepa in goal, I'm going to lash one from the edge of the box, or from outside the box, and he does, and it goes in. Kepa yet again showing just short keepers don't really work. If that's Mendy that makes the exact same dive, he gets a hand to that, because Kepa missed it by like that much. Mendy is easily that much taller than him, therefore he saves it. So it's annoying to see Tuchel again. He's made changes. I'm not like massively dissing Tuchel. I do think though we had good momentum with a good team, and there's been quite a few changes and we've lost that momentum now, and it's cost us a trophy. And I do think he's of course partly to blame, although the team that is on the pitch should be good enough to beat this Leicester City team. So it's a tough one. It's a really tough one to take, let alone I didn't want to make VAR the sort of subject of this video. But when you look at the fact that their goal stood, even though a handball is, you know, it clearly comes off the guy's arm, bounces off his knee onto his arm, falls to another player, pass to Tielemans, goal. It happens, like, if I'm remembering correctly, I might not have because I just saw it live, 3-4 seconds, you know, the handball to the shot coming in, the goal going in. There was like 3 or 4 seconds in there, and they say it wasn't a direct contribution to the goal. It didn't have a, you know, direct influence on that goal, which of course it did. It sends the ball flying a complete different direction. So to say that was just baffling. I was sat when the goal went in. I was sat there like, no way, what a strike. But then I kept thinking, nah, they're going to overturn it. Of course they're going to overturn it. It hit his hand. We've seen this. Handball equals no goal. Even we've had that on our end, even when it's like it's hit someone's hand and it was gonna hit them. I think it was Aspi's hand. He had his hand by his thigh. It hits his hand, even though it would have hit his thigh the exact same way, and ends up going to a goal, and it's disallowed. Yeah, this was not. Shocking decision there. We didn't show enough urgency going after that. Like, I wanted to see us like going for it, yet we didn't. And, you know, you could tell that there was some sort of urgency there, but it wasn't great. If I remember correctly, I think Mason Mount towards like the 90th minute, now we're into probably stoppage time, maybe 85th minute, Mason Mount has a strike in the box around here, a really good clean half volley, and Kasper Schmeichel pulls out a fantastic save to save it. For me, he's the man of the match. Kasper Schmeichel kept them in that, absolutely. That scenario, and then of course our goal that is ruled offside by a margin, a hairline of Ben Chilwell's shoulder. In the end, a nicely worked goal. You know, it's a good ball out to Chilwell. He gets a good flick on it, and then the defender clears it, and I think it then comes back off Chilwell again. I'm not entirely sure. It was either him or the defender, but I'm pretty sure it was coming off Chilwell again. And he worked really hard for that goal. You know, I think he should have started. I would have started him myself. And he comes on the pitch with not too much time to go. He's got Leicester fans booing him up against his old club, and he goes and pulls that out of the bag. I'm celebrating. I'm running around my room, my house, my living room, screaming because how could they possibly rule this out, right? And of course they do. VAR works when it goes against us, apparently. So congratulations to Leicester. You know, it's a big trophy for them to have won. Would have been big for us as well, don't get me wrong. But I suppose we've got bigger things now. We've got to beat them in the league. This does worry me a lot about whether we get the 3 points against them in the league now. We're showing our inability to score at the moment. You know, defensively, again, we concede, like the Arsenal game. That was just a freak goal that should have just never happened. And again, it's a bit of a freak goal. You know, the strike itself was immense from Tielemans, but the fact that, you know, there was a handball leading up to it and all that, it just makes me think, like, defensively we feel really sound, but going forward, oh my god. I really, Ziyech, like, there's so many times where I think about Ziyech, I'm like, get him off the pitch, he's awful. And then out of nowhere, he'll pull something great out. And you wonder, is it worth having him on the pitch for that moment? And it is. But then when he doesn't pull out that little moment where he gets a goal or a really nice assist or something, then it just shows how much of a passenger he is to the game. Timo Werner as well today was just awful. Like, he wasn't doing many runs behind the defenders because there wasn't that much room, and he was coming in, dropping in deep, trying to offload and make something happen, but then his final shot or someone else's final shot was just too poor to create anything. And if you're going to use Timo Werner to come deep with his back to goal and offload, why aren't we playing a Tammy Abraham? Why aren't we playing a Giroud, who then can get in the box and, you know, get their head on it? I do wonder if we started Tammy or possibly Giroud, but I keep thinking to Tammy because how much we're just not using him at the moment. If you start him in this game, I feel like we get a goal out of this game. And given how much we are struggling to score, I don't see why Tammy is being pushed out so much. But I suppose that's a different story for a different day to talk about. But so disappointed. You know, any trophy is a good trophy realistically, and the FA Cup is certainly a great trophy to get your hands on. And to have lost it to a Leicester team that didn't offer much. If we take a look at the statistics, you know, we dominated almost literally all round, apart from goalkeeper saves. We've dominated that game. Not enough to, I don't think we, you know, I don't think that was I think we've been robbed, but not in the sense of like, we should have won that like 4-0, but they were called offside and, you know, wrong decisions left, right and centre. We weren't that good. We would have been, a 1-0 probably would have been fair to us. Or even going to extra time and, you know, solving it that way. That I would have been okay with that, because that's mostly fair, because our attack wasn't good, but our defence was good. And I think you can say the same for them. If you look at their attackers, there's poor ratings all around. And their defence, of course, was set up very solidly to snuff out any chances that we had, and they certainly managed that. So a lot to think on, a lot to work on now for Tuchel. I'm sure we'll see what his post-match says. I haven't seen it myself. I wonder if, again, he'll say maybe too many little tinkering changes. Maybe Kepa shouldn't have started. Maybe Reece James should have not have been at centre-back instead of Aspi on the wing. Maybe Marcos Alonso shouldn't have started. Maybe it should have been Ben Chilwell. Maybe Kai Havertz should have started. You know, he'd been in good form, mostly, minus that Arsenal game. He was getting goals and he was starting to hit a bit of form. And then, you know, we go and bring Timo in as the lone striker, which just doesn't seem to work. I don't know. A lot to think on and a lot to fix before Leicester in the league, Villa in the league, and then that all-important Champions League final. I was very confident going into that Champions League final up until the last two games. So, oh boy, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a big few weeks for Chelsea. And if we come out of this with squat, with nothing, then I'm going to be very, very upset with how this season has gone, given where we put ourselves. You know, we should have been good for top four. We've slipped. We should have won the FA Cup. We've slipped. Yeah, admittedly, VAR screwed us a bit, but again, we slipped. Champions League final against a City team that we've beaten twice already. Oh boy, we cannot afford another one. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys up to date with my videos and stuff. Make sure you subscribe so you see when my videos come out. Like the video to try and cheer me up a bit after that loss. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.